What's up? Hope everyone's having a good day and is ready for another video in the series called Underrated Throwers. So, sorry for the long hiatus in this series. I ran out of a couple throwers to do videos like this on. But I decided to do Delis from Cuba, as you can see here. Discus thrower from Cuba, like I said, and with a PR of 71.06 meters, so pretty far. Um, and as you can see from the date, he was a thrower from like 80s to 90s. He did test positive and got a 2-year ban, but that was later in his career, and he just decided to retire and became the Cuban national coach and coached several really good discus throwers. There's one in the 90s, I forget her name. She's one of I think still holds the Cuban record for women. I think she threw over 70. I think she threw like 70, 71 meters or something. Crazy good athlete. He coached Yimi Perez before she defected from Cuba, and Caballero. Also a 70-meter thrower, so very knowledgeable in the sport. Very good coach, obviously, and very good thrower in his own right. Got the bronze medal in the 1980 Olympics. Got 2 world championship medals, a plethora of other medals. I'll link his personal best, height, weight, and notable accomplishments in the video description. But let's take a look at his throw. Oh, also, I totally forgot to mention the whole point of the series. So why I think he's underrated. One is he's one of the few throwers I've seen throw really far with a very not very wide sweep out the back. And then 2, he had a very unique style. He didn't really have that high of a high point. He had a very unique wind. As you can see from this, he doesn't really get over his left in the traditional way. A lot of the stuff he does is not very traditional, but traditional. He actually lands kind of blocked off a lot of the time, which is actually kind of crazy considering how far he throws. But we'll get into that. So technically, like, solid all around, but I mean just quirky. But I mean, it goes to show you that you could throw far with any style, really. You just have to find a style that works for you, and even if you're quirky in the ring, you can still throw far if you have a good release. So I know this video kind of cuts out a little bit of his wind, but he's here. So really nice. He doesn't wind like around. I know it cuts out some of the video about of him winding, but he kind of goes like and then goes like and hits this position. So he kind of goes up and down instead of around, but he gets to the position. All right, so really nice stable wind, balanced in both knees, even weight distribution. Gets over the left in his own way. Picks up. I couldn't find a really nice video of him that people haven't already done videos on him of. But yeah, so you can't really see a lot of what he's doing in the back of the ring from like the knees down, but I mean, you can tell he picks up his right foot kind of early out the back. Has the discus a little bit behind him, but not that much. Which, I mean, for men is pretty okay. Especially if you... I mean, he's obviously super strong. As you gotta be to throw 71 meters. There's really no way to get around it. You have to be really strong. Yeah, for men, it's not that big of a deal at all. In fact, it's usually kind of preferred to have it. You still want it behind your hip, unless you're Christian Che. But you still want it behind your hip. you never want it in front of your hip. So the minimum is like either in line or where Louise has it, where it's a little bit behind. The reason for that is that if you're not strong enough to carry it super far behind, which is preferred, but if you're not strong enough in your upper body to actually finish the disc, you'll end up shanking and pulling the disc around, and you won't actually get like finished square to the ring. Like you won't finish like this. Like you'd be like this, and then you would have to kind of yank your upper body around. It's hard to say. It's hard to show you without like actually showing you in a video, because he does an excellent job at the finish with his upper body, because one of the reasons is because of the way he carries his disc out the back. So sets a really nice low point, and this is what I'm talking about with not that wide of a sweep. So this is actually a very wide sweep for him, actually, but usually he doesn't get that wide of a sweep at all. Usually it's more like here. So I mean, it's still not that wide, but, I mean, it's sufficient enough. But here, he gets super tight in the ring. Another quirky thing he does is he kind of holds his left arm like in kind of a weird U position, which you don't see a lot of throwers do. So, instead of, like, it doesn't look relaxed, but I guess that is pretty relaxed for him. That's how he feels relaxed. You know, people throw far with it super bent. Most people throw far with it super long. And, you know, you got Delis. You don't really see this position that often with the left arm, but, I mean, it works. So he gets into a nice position here. One of the biggest things I think that really lets him throw super far is this position. Has everything. Let me get a straight line. Has everything perfectly stacked, so his head, knee, and foot are perfectly in line with each other. He has his shoulders back, and he does a really excellent pre-turn, which I think is really useful to do in discus, just because you have a bigger ring, so you have more time, so it's easier to do a pre-turn. The reason I like a pre-turn is because it gets your hips into the throw sooner. It creates a lot more stretch and separation through the ring, and it just speeds up everything and allows you to accelerate more. And if you're super not super heavy, like I don't know how heavy Delis is, although he doesn't look that big. I mean, he's pretty big, but doesn't look very big at all. He doesn't look very tall either, but I could also be wrong. But yeah, so I really like that. Lars Riedel probably has the best pre-turn ever, but Delis is getting close to that. So this is the position I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about when I say blocked off, where his feet are in line with each other, whereas you want here, kind of. You want to be able to turn your hip all the way around, and he can't do that in this position, so that's why he kind of releases a little bit this way and is kind of leaning to this side. And I mean, you can see that kind of in the people he coached. Yemi Perez, you know, still to this day, even though she switched coaches, lands blocked off. But I mean, she's throwing 69 meters and is a world champ, so who cares, I guess. It's just people usually don't throw far from a blocked off stance. And Delis often kind of landed blocked off. So that's something to keep in mind. But I really like the super long position here. But let's back up a little. So he lands. Excellent T position. So what I mean by a T position is he's here and here. So he gets into super nice T. That's really all you need. You know, the hip is a little bit behind him, but that's because he landed blocked off. And he lets the discus catch up just a little bit. but he is still turning through it and it's still behind him. So he kind of throws with everything in a line. Kinda. Again, because he landed blocked off, it's so hard to actually turn your hips when your left foot is in front of your right foot. So when you're like this, so this is the left, this is the right. Now, obviously, he's not like this and this. But, I mean, you get the picture. So he can't turn his hips all the way through. So he leaves the ground a little early. But he transfers super well over that block. So his left foot landed here. Oh, oops. Okay, the camera moves, so let's see. So let's just imagine left foot, right foot. So he does get through the disc. It's just not in the most optimal way. But I mean, it gets the job done. I don't know how far this particular throw was. I don't think this was his PR. I think. It could have been though. I have no idea though. Oh, this was a 70-meter 58 throw. Oh, never mind. This was a really far throw. Okay. My bad. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I guess he's also thrown 70 meters more than once as well. I did not even know that. I mean, I know he's throwing like 68, 69 meters. I didn't know he threw over 70 twice. Or he's probably done it a little more than that. I have no idea. If I find out, I'll link that in the video description. But, I mean, overall, just a super, just basic technique. Oh, that was the unique thing about him that I forgot. I totally forgot. Sorry. I should really, like, write down notes and stuff of, talking points to do. So, yeah, he doesn't have a very wide sweep, but the thing that makes him super unique is that he leads with the knee and not the groin. So normally you're taught to kind of soccer kick to get a lot of angular momentum and a lot of rotational energy into the throw. He leads with the knee right here. So that makes his throw super linear. So that right there is a reason why he lands blocked off, is because he doesn't get that rotational energy to make him keep turning his right foot to get his left foot into a good position. So that's something to keep in mind. But the thing that the leading with the knee does is it creates a super linear sprint. So he gets I want you to notice. So let's see. He's on the ground. Left foot leaves the ground. Right foot lands immediately. And like his left foot is way past his right foot. So he gets a tremendous sprint out the back, which really speeds him up and creates a bunch of linear drive into the throw. So he's not very rotational at all. I would equate this to kind of like the equivalent to like gliding in discus, kind of. I've seen people actually try and glide in discus. I actually have too. It's kind of fun. It doesn't go very far. Definitely doesn't go 70 meters. It's just fun, but that's off topic. But yeah, I would equate this to kind of so it's not very rotational. Obviously, it does have rotational components because you are spinning and it is discus, but it's very linear. Like you can see even here, like he doesn't even concentrate on turning around. Like his right hip doesn't even really finish all the way through. Really, again, that's because he's blocked off. But like a lot of it is just get a bunch of lift and a bunch of out on the disc. And what I mean by out is out over the, I guess the ring, shot put, we'd call it out over the toe board. So, yeah, I mean, it's a way to throw. Not my personal favorite way to throw far in discus, but, it works, obviously. So, yeah, I think discus has obviously evolved from the 80s. You don't see a lot of people throw like they did from the 80s. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I mean, you can also get away with a lot, if you're taking a bunch of steroids and you're super strong. Like Delis here. I don't know if he was taking a bunch of steroids, but I'm assuming because it was Cuba and in the 80s and it was still a Soviet country. Um, yeah, he was probably taking a lot of steroids. Um, so yeah. But anyway, besides that, overall pretty nice technique. I mean, nothing really like outrageously wrong. The things I would personally fix. Not that really anybody at this kind of level would take my advice. Um, or I'm not saying I know better than Luis Delis, but I mean, one couple of things I would correct, or try and fix if I was his coach, was landing blocked off and sweeping a little differently. But I mean, if I got him when he was already throwing really far, I probably wouldn't change a damn thing because the worst thing you can do with an athlete is dramatically change their throw when they already throw super far. Because if they throw super far with that technique, that's their technique. So you just got to make like little minimal adjustments, just to make them a little more consistent and stuff if they're not already. If they're already someone like Ryan Krauser or like Gerd Cantor, just like goats, I mean, you don't really need to change anything, just say like, good job. But yeah. Other than that, hope you guys really liked the video. Again, I'll link his height, weight, personal best, and notable accomplishments in the video description. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.